Hi, this is Tasheena.
And this is Jonathan.
And this is We Watch What We Watch, a podcast where me and Jonathan shoot the shit and watch Shōgun. Well, rewatch, technically.
Yes. Yeah, we watched it once. We're watching it again for your pleasure, since I know all of you are dying to listen to us ramble about these episodes every week. But if you haven't watched the show yet, definitely do it. I'm going to keep saying that throughout this. So, all right.
Beat it in like a hammer, Jonathan. Come on.
Watch Shōgun. It is worth it. All right. So this week we have episode 6, Ladies of the Willow World. Lady Ochiba returns to Osaka in order to accelerate the region's campaign against Toranaga. Najiro, Toranaga tests Maruko's loyalty to his cause.
Is that what he's doing? He's testing something. So we start off the episode 22 years prior, where Ochiba lived, and her father is the leader before the
Ochiba's father
Taiko.
is the assassinated ruler before the Taiko. See her and Maruko together.
Because Maruko's father is his vassal, so he moves pretty much into their castle with Maruko.
I'm not going to say their family name because I don't know how it's pronounced.
No. So Ochiba and Maruko pretty much grew up together for a few years. They seem like they were almost sisters in a way. Yeah,
basically.
So we see them meet, them grow up together, and we also in the montage see Maruko's father slowly losing patience for Ochiba's father.
Yep.
It's pretty bad. You only see like a couple of split things here and there. But it seems like he was a little rough ruler. And Toranaga is on his side because there's a moment where her father looks like he's about to do something.
Yeah, is this where we see like the ruler like beheading the people and stuff?
Or
is that a later flashback?
Oh, there is a couple flashbacks throughout.
Yeah, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. In the flashback, one of these flashbacks, you see, the ruler's like, beheading people, and you can see Maruko's dad is like trying to stop it, but Toranaga's like, not now. This is not the time.
Yep, this is not the time. So showing that Toranaga was definitely like on her father's side, which is probably why he treats Maruko with such respect.
His father sees Maruko, and because she's seeing all this.
Yes.
He's like, oh, go back to bed. You're only dreaming.
Yeah. And then you jump ahead like a few years, and it shows pretty much where Maruko and
Brutaro,
their marriage, and that's for alliance, and her expressing to Ochiba that she feels like she is being cast away. She doesn't understand this alliance.
Yeah, the Toda clan is a worthless alliance. Burn on Brutaro.
I know, seriously. Like, so even before everything went down, it didn't seem like she liked her husband very much, even from the beginning. And then her father, as she's, going in the wedding procession out of the castle and leaving to her new home, you hear her father talking about how this is like, you're not usually a daughter who is disobedient. He's like, but your duty is what endures, just a lot more about duty, honor. And then the actual episode starts off at Ajiro with the memorial service for everybody who died in the earthquake.
Like over half their army or whatever.
They said at one point thousands people died.
Although I think that includes like villagers and people too.
Oh yeah, no.
He said like the reports from the north are even worse. I'm assuming it's just like damage to all the community.
It's bad.
But not everything's down. Things are up and up for the Anjin, who is now, since he saved Toranaga's life a second time, is awarded his own fief and made
some money.
Yep. Made him general of the cannon regiment and his chief admiral. All this stuff.
And Omi's like, well, wait a minute.
I thought I had the cannon regiment.
So he gave it to him without even saying anything to him. So this is a running theme throughout the episode with Omi of him just being pissy. And John
getting all this attention.
Which is so funny. We'll see this a little bit later, actually towards the end of the episode, But John doesn't want any of these things. Like, he's getting all these gifts, but it's not the thing he wants. And everybody around him is so jealous about everything he gets in this episode. John doesn't want these things. Everything he wants is out of his grasp.
I really think it's intentional, too.
Oh,
Toranaga knows what he wants, but he keeps giving him other things that he doesn't want.
To hopefully... and John must know he's trying to pacify him in a way. It's like, it's so weird. They both understand the game that's going on. But we get a scene with Yabu and Omi where Omi's getting pissy and Yabu's like, time to write another will.
And I think at this point, isn't this where he tells his general, this comes into play later, we don't see it yet, but he tells his general to go to Osaka because he needs to smooth things over with Ishido.
I think this is it, yeah.
So, see what happens to him.
Yabu is just being Yabu.
Yep.
We get a little scene with John and Mariko where, because at the end of the last episode, when they were just not seeing eye to eye, she's like, you don't understand us. Mm-hmm. She said to him, like, you don't talk to me unless I'm being your translator. Other than that, we have no relationship. So there's just this nice scene where he hears her praying the Lord's Prayer in Latin.
Yep.
And then he starts saying it on and there's a wall in between them.
A literal wall.
It was kind of sweet, the connection. It's like the connection is still there, but yeah, there's just so much, not just her husband, just culturally, just so much between them at this moment.
This one thread tying them together, even though it's both from different cultures, but still have this one thing in common, even though it's from different versions of the same religion, but it's still, I think it's good highlighting, obviously Catholics and Protestants, all this history, they're saying the same prayer, just in a different language.
Exactly. And that there is still some connection there. And the next scene is Toranaga talking to Mariko's husband.
Buntaro, yeah.
Buntaro.
And this is where you finally get some of his perspective of what his perception of Mariko is and how I think basically this whole time, he basically hates her because, her father killed the ruler, right? Which is obviously very disgraceful. That's why his whole family was put to death, So his view, is that she's from this traitorous line, which of course passes down the family from his point of view. And he says, I thought she'd be grateful that I spared her life. She's been asking to take her own life, and he has denied it. So he's got it all confused. From his perspective, he's like, oh, she should have been grateful.
Yes, because he's probably thinking she's only asking because that's what culturally she's supposed to do. I'm supposed to, my family's traitors, I'm supposed to die with them. And since he didn't kill her, she should be grateful.
Yep.
That treacherous hoe. But
of course, she has been given him nothing this whole marriage. She's been ice. So now ice. His bitterness is built up. So by this point, we're seeing was it 16 years ago?
So 16 years they got married, and it was only 2 years into their marriage that this happened with her father. It's been
over a decade of just bitterness building up.
He's cold as ice, and she is not melted. She has grave rocked him this whole time. And I'm wondering then, I don't know the age of their son. I'm wondering if the son came before.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Happened. Yeah.
He could be old enough.
Yeah, he's right on the edge. It's hard to tell. But he's there because Toranaga is dressing him down for beating up his wife. And he's and again, you could do whatever you want with your wife, but she's also my translator.
And I can't have her harmed. Just saying, okay.
I need her.
Roundabout way to get to the right answer.
And so it is interesting, especially the way he treats his wives. He probably is also probably a little bit more of a forward thinker of he shouldn't have treated her like this. But culturally, he could do whatever he wants. So yeah, he has to go around it in the culture. Again, all these rules, and I think you succeed when you know best how to work within the system and how to maneuver around it. That's why he's good at what he does.
And he then dresses down a bit too on Mariko because he says, Mariko's doing what I ask for and nothing more.
Yep.
Which sort of checks into
Because he says, after he says, she is cold as ice and she is not melted, but with the engine, the barbarian, it is different.
Yep.
And I think that's what really spurn this hate-filled dinner from the night before is 14 years she has given him nothing. And he just all he sees is like glimpses where she is actually like expressing emotion to another man. Yeah, it really must burn
and not to
him up.
And when you look at it this way, and this is not to excuse anything Buntaro has done, but we never see what he was like 14 years ago. All we know is that
we just see him for one moment.
We see him really briefly. We could probably assume that, people don't really change that much, so all this stuff's probably already there. But it...
Yeah, because it was hard to read, because she was fighting and he was looking at her, and it was really hard to see, was he impressed by her? Was there something there?
Yeah.
It was hard to read his expression of, did he actually really love her in the beginning?
Because at the time, I assume this would have been a very good marriage for him.
Oh, yeah.
Because, she's the daughter of this important vassal. Yeah, it seemed like it was a downgrade for her. That's what she didn't understand at the time.
Yes.
So you wonder, it allows you to view Buntaro. It doesn't redeem anything, but it allows you to view him as more of a complete, complex person.
Correct. Yes.
Not as just a one-dimensional, bad, brutish husband who beats wife.
Exactly.
Obviously, that's all bad, but it gives you a little more understanding of the person.
It does not let him off the hook.
No, absolutely not.
For being a shitbag to his wife. Yeah. It's just that we now know what is there. Why is he so angry and bitter?
Yep. Engine comes in.
As he's leaving, Marco and John come in.
And this is another great physical acting. Buntaro has this twitch that he does with his nose whenever he sees John.
Also Tornaga told him, you have to be separated from your wife for a week.
Yep.
So we don't see him a whole lot.
Yeah. Going on. He's taking a time out.
Yeah. He needs to go to the calm down corner. And then here we go.
John's again up here asking Tornaga, I want my ship. I want to leave. Get me out of here.
Let me be free. He's like, I appreciate all these things you're giving to me, but why? And then Tornaga's like, is he questioning my generosity? And then he gives him this whole spiel of if you give me the ship, I'll
fight the Portuguese.
For you.
He's trying to get back on his mission. I want to fight the Portuguese.
And
give me my ship so I can fight the Portuguese.
I feel one moment, I don't know if you saw this, it looked like Mariko actually rolled her eyes when she was like, this is not in my lord's interest. When she said that, I'm like, yeah, she's right.
And Tornaga points out, and he's correct. Even if John Blackthorne is right, that, the Portuguese are in here for their own self-interests, diplomatically, they are a friendly nation. They have not committed an act of aggression. Tornaga's like, I'm not attacking this foreign country just because you say so.
Exactly. Also, have you seen what I'm dealing with over here? Who the fuck cares what the Portuguese are doing right now? I'm fighting for my life against this Council of Regents. That's my concern right now.
And also, Tornaga realizes smartly that the church can be used to his own ends. He already did it once to get out of Osaka.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a chance he could maneuver himself to get the Christian regents on his side against Shido.
Exactly. So why would he...
Why burn that bridge?
Just go and burn that bridge when he doesn't know if it will help or hurt him at the moment. Right now, it's just kind of there, neutral. Yeah. It could go either way. But that is John's only excuse for why Tornaga should give him the ship back.
Yep. So Tornaga's just like, nah, not happening.
Bye.
Right. See ya. Oh, but Mariko, you stay.
Get John to a brothel ASAP.
He is too tense.
Please, that boy needs to get laid.
Yep. So she's like, okay. Then he's like, oh, and you go with him. What? Oh, in case he talks while he billows. Oh, boy. Also,
when he just talk English, it's not like we know anyways. Yep. But Tornaga knows what he's doing.
Yeah. He doesn't like that. He can tell that there's something between them. He doesn't like it because it's making them very whiny and needy. And he don't have time for whiny and needy.
Kids. Yeah, he's cut it out. That was definitely the end of last episode.
Go out, go fuck, and come back to me later.
Kids. I don't got time for this.
Yep.
My army's gone.
I don't know if you saw the earthquake the other day, but I got more pressing concerns.
I know. Just Sometimes Toranaga and Marco look like they're literally rolling their eyes when John
Yep.
speaks. It's great.
Then smash cut. Osaka is on fire.
It's on fire.
There's
Shit is
chaos
going
in the
down.
streets. The birds are on fire. Poor birds.
I know.
Yeah.
We see Hero, which I'm glad. We haven't seen Hero in a while.
So he's there with the wives.
The wives. And pretty much we get that this is Ochiba and Ishido's doing because they have taken the regents hostage, in air quotes, hostage. Because one of the wives is pretty much giving birth any minute now. Hero's like, he has to go alone. He's like, I'm sorry, I have to leave you. But
they volunteer. They're like, no, we're only going to slow you down. You go. You have to warn Toranaga.
They are right. He has to go. So, he takes off. Hell out of Osaka, man.
Chops some people on his way out with the horse, showing off his samurai skills. Chop, chop.
Oh, because we have the play next. Before the play, we have got a little scene
with the priests.
With the priests who apparently tried to go into the official Osaka castle and were refused entrance. And they're, because they're like, oh, all this is going down. The air is in trouble. We need to lock things down. And so that makes the priests a bit nervous. And then...
Yeah, because their regents have been taken hostage.
Yeah, they're like,
they don't have influence in the Shido.
Yes. And so, is it T2?
I don't know.
The what I'll call the good priest, sure, for lack of a better term. It's like, hey, maybe this would be the time to side with Toranaga. And then the church head is just like, oh, why do you...
You're such a Toranaga simp. Stop simping for Toranaga.
Stop.
But
he doesn't know.
Because he's right. It's like, Ishido's making a move against their regents.
So, if they kill... If something happens to the regents, they need a backup plan.
So maybe, and Toranaga did. So this is where Toranaga was smart to get some inroads with them. So now he's not completely shut out from this avenue.
So this shows Toranaga is right, and John is being a little baby. Yep. And then we get to the play. Oh,
also, I think for John, and again, he keeps having these little moments of realization, but he's not completely let go of his old life yet. And his mission against the Portuguese, his mission against the Portuguese is still him holding on to his old life. That is like the thing of his old life. So that's the representation of, as long as he wants that, he's not letting go.
He's definitely a man of like one foot in each world.
Yep. All right.
The play?
The play.
Where it must be really, I guess this is probably something higher ups are used to in Japan, but I would think it'd be weird to see a play about your own history.
Oh, and never underestimate a lord's or a lady's vanity.
Oh, that's true. Maybe Ojiba was like, bring on the play. I want to see me.
Like they probably do it to curry favor.
Yeah, because pretty much the play is about the Taiko.
Yeah, Taiko and because Ochiba is the mother of the heir.
Mm-hmm.
She was a consort to the Taiko, and she was the only one able to give
that boy. Give him that boy. And so they're all watching. We do get a little chitty chat with a couple of the regents, like one of the Christian regents and one of the Ishido's men.
No, it's not Ishido's men. It's one of the regents. That's Sugiyama. So there's the two Christian regents, Ono and the dude I can't remember.
Sugiyama tends to align with Ishido, right? I feel because he even says like I align myself with a Burke. I feel like it's been the two Christian regents and then the Ishido and this other guy have been kind of clashing. They're chit-chatting because they know this is all farce and they are hostages in this castle, and they are pretty much was it
Sugiyama?
Sugiyama is starting to get a little tick, like we are puppets. This is not good.
Because the other guy is like, well, once this is all calmed down and once Toranaga's taken care of, this all go back to normal. This is just for Toranaga.
Yeah.
Sugiyama is like, no, man, we're always going to be hostages now. This isn't just Toranaga's just the excuse. This is the way it is now.
I feel like this dude was just like internally taking a nap and he just woke up.
Yep. Shit. I missed missed my chance. Yeah, he realized it a little too late.
Yes. He's been playing the fool.
Who is it that's been That isn't the Taiko's wife, is it? Is it? Because the hood? I only realized that right then. I'm like, wait, is that the mother? Not the mother, but the Taiko's wife. Because we see the Taiko's wife in a flashback with Oshiba. And I just realized the person who's always with the heir, she has the nun garbs on or whatever, that I can't tell if it's the same person. So I'm going to look really stupid if that's the same person. Because I don't really know who she is, but whoever she is.
Kind of direct with Ochiba.
Yeah.
So
she basically tells her, you're allying with the wrong person. Ishido is nothing. He's a pretender. He's a peasant. He's a bureaucrat. He's weak. So she's planting some seeds here about like, you're sort of not literally in bed, but figuratively in bed with Ishido right now, but you might want to rethink your choices.
Rethink it before you literally get in bed with him.
Ishido wishes.
Okay, so the play ends, and Ishido
and Ochiba, they talk with the
lead.
Yeah, the lead. He's a lord, I guess, because I'm Lord something. So.
I did not write his name down.
I don't know. He's not important.
He's just a pawn in the game.
They're trying to woo him to become the next regent.
We saw you cross the bar. Yeah. We're coming over to see if you want to join us.
And he's into it.
He is down for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we leave that to simmer. But potentially this actor could become the new regent. They just have to get a vote.
Question is, does he get to participate or does he just watch the votes?
For the first time, he just watches.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, so we're back in...
Sorry, Mom.
We're back in Najiro. And Uramatsu returns.
Yeah.
Rides in on a horse and collapses.
And just like a lot of updates on like what's been going on in Osaka.
Something's going on in Osaka.
And then we get the first mention of Crimson Sky.
Crimson Sky. Ooh. So yeah, they're talking about what to do. And they basically talk about, they had this old plan called Crimson Sky where they would just do a single mad rush at Osaka and just try and get there, cut off the snake's head, place in a new government. Toranaga becomes Shōgun. Which, of course, Nagahara was like, yeah, Dad. Do it, Dad. Be Shōgun, Dad.
My daddy can do anything.
Yep. Tornaga's like, I don't want it. Never have. Except he does.
He does. But he can't look like he wants it too much.
Yep. No, sirree.
So, he leaves going, no, we're not doing Crimson Sky. There's other options.
And he has to owe me his opinion because I think he's showing Omi some favor here because he's like, Omi, what would you do? And Omi, thinks about it, he's like, it's like there's still time for other options. Why risk everything on Crimson Sky when there's still time?
Which is true.
Which appeals to Toranaga's way of thinking. So he's like, yep, that's what we're going to do.
Especially, and if they are going to do Crimson Sky, they're probably going to have to do some planning anyway. So we're not at the point where we need to rush this.
Yep.
And then we go to a great scene of Fuji and Mariko haggling with Kiko's pimp, Jin. Yep. The head
of the tea house.
Of the tea house. Is the tea house called the Willow World, or is it just a nickname?
I don't think branding has really been invented at this point. She just says that some people call it the Willow World.
Well, haggling, it's great.
Haggling over the price, yeah. She's like, oh, it's 600. And Mariko's like, so sorry. I did not want to buy all the tea houses in Izu.
And then I guess she was under the impression
but Lord Toranaga deserves this. Oh, so sorry. It's actually the Hatamoto.
Oh man, she almost spit out that tea.
In that case, I'm going to double it.
Okay.
But, yeah.
And then they just cut to a little theme of Kiku talking to Omi, and Omi again is pissed. Like this whole episode, I was like,
"Now the king of the barbarian, my woman." No.
Poor boy. Everything's being taken away from him.
Yep.
First the canon regiment, now his woman, and now we get to
first they're taking his. Phallic representation of the canon, and then his actual phallus. Can't keep getting away with this. Not my dick. Anyway.
Sorry, Mom. So now we're heading to the tea house. Mariko says that wives are not usually allowed in. So this is a pretty special occasion that she's allowed in. So it shows the weight that also Toranaga has.
Yep.
And how do we want to go into this?
Yeah, I mean, so he goes in there. So you could tell he's very uncomfortable with the situation.
I mean, Marco's there too.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
But he's going along with it. And so Marcus tells her what to do and what to say, because it's all very ritualized.
Yes. Jen brings them into the room, kind of explaining a little bit more about, the setup there. And Kiko comes in. I have to say, again, the casting of this show is amazing. Because
talk about someone with she has a presence too.
And she is, especially in the kimono she's in this, with her makeup, like everything, the way it's done, she is stunning. And I'm like, yes, I would see men paying lots of money to be with her. And just the way she handles herself, the way she talks, I really appreciated the character because she also mentions to Mariko that she sees she's suffering. Like,
a woman cannot look away while another suffers.
Also shows, I don't know, I feel like sometimes sex workers get cast in this light, almost like anti-woman, which this is not at all. Like, she sees Mariko's pain, and then it's interesting what she does.
Yeah. There's also a great line here, which I think has been said before, or maybe I'm misremembering, but it really comes into play later. She's doing the tea ritual. She's pouring the tea, and she has like her assistant there helping her. And when she takes the tea away, he stops her and he's like, "Look, what do you see? See nothing. The tea pot is no longer there." And she comments on the fact that what you notice is that the tea is missing, and says, "Presence is felt most keenly in absence." A really, really important line.
Yes. And especially with what Mariko and John are going through right now, where they're just so
sort of absent from each other.
Yeah. Because it's like, they're in each other's presence, but emotionally they're so distant from each other. It's interesting. So what happens is she sits behind kind of like a
she
diagonal.
Puts Mariko between herself and where John is sitting.
So his eyesight line
basically matches her silhouette, so that as she talks and Mariko translates John's perspective, all you see
is Mariko.
It's Mariko. And the way they film this, they do this too. They show them first at an angle, you can see them all, and then the camera slowly goes to where even you, the viewer, can't see Kiko. They also start to, as they're doing the translation, first they show the text, of what Kiko's saying, and then that drops away. Then her voice starts to drop away, and all you hear is Mariko talking.
And pretty much Kiko is just explaining what the Willow World means. And pretty much their point of view there at the tea house is men come there to forget and escape. Whatever's going on in their life. It's not just physical, the pleasure. There's way more going on. They want a perfect moment. And so her job is to create that perfect moment. And towards the end, she goes, "I'm inviting you in to be a part of that moment." So we're getting towards the end, and it sounds like, Mariko saying, like, "I'm inviting you in." And
also
spicy.
Mariko, and there's not just the camera work going on here. Mariko herself, about halfway through the translation, she's been translating as her. She's been saying, like, she says,
yes,
to her, and at one point she switches to first person and starts repeating it verbatim, and she says, "I."
And I'm really focusing on like her lips, so like what John is just like watching her say these things. So it's really sad because Kiko is creating a perfect moment for John. He still cannot be with Mariko. Like, she's just gonna pretty much try to give him the next best thing. Because they go off into their private room, and Mariko's like, "Peace out."
It was a great scene. It was very emotionally charged, very sensual, like.
Yes.
And without, they showed nothing.
They showed nothing, and it was like, woo, like
that's how you do it. Yeah.
Which again shows how important chemistry is.
Chemistry, writing, acting, like all the stuff, using the medium with the camera, like it was all came in
doesn't matter how hot two people are. If they have zero chemistry, then they're just two dum-dums sitting there.
Doorknobs banging against each other.
Pretty much. Nothing just gets to be more than just awful chemistry. So to see that, and again, like you said, nobody's touching. It's all words. It's all camera angles that's conveying the emotions that are going on in this moment. And pretty spicy.
So after this, you see the next morning, they're, leaving the town, saying goodbye. He's casting a longing glance over at Kiko, sort of looks at him and then like awkwardly looks away.
And this is where he says to Yabu, like, oh, he just gets everything. This is where I feel like their jealousy is at the tipping point. And again, like, these things are nice, but they're not what John wants.
Yep.
Like, yes, Kiko's probably great at what she does, but she's not Mariko.
So now we get Toranaga and Mariko. And this is a pretty important scene. The key thing that happens here is that they're talking about her father, what happened. And Toranaga mentions how he had great plans for you. She's like, well, he shouldn't have cast me away then. He should have married me better. That's what she said. He should have married me better. And Toranaga's like, you didn't know? Like, this wasn't a random marriage. He knew. This was his plan. He married you. I think this was the realization. I think she never connected the two events. She thought she saw the marriage, and 2 years later, then he killed the player. But it's like, no, this was always the plan. He married you off so that you would live.
You would live, yeah. And then...
so that you could continue his fight. And she realizes this, and she's like, I failed him.
Which is, it's interesting watching these two episodes back to back, because it was very similar to the end of last episode when John's like, I killed him. Like this realization moment. I thought that was a nice parallel for both of them.
I do think Toranaga probably could have told her maybe a decade earlier, but besides that, it's good drama for the show.
And I also want to mention what started this conversation is he was talking about Ochiba and that she is doing these things without honor.
Oh, yes. She's trying to figure out, like, why is she going after me so hard?
Yes. She fights without honor. And Marco kind of scoffs him, like, excuse me? Which I like, even with this whole eightfold fence and everything, she still, at some points, can actually talk to Toranaga, like person to person. And she goes, I'm sorry, my lord, but men go to war for many different reasons. She lists off some reasons. She goes, but a woman is simply at war.
Yep.
And I feel like that is, if that is not the theme for the women in this show. Even see in all the details of their lives, like the way they walk, the way they move their hands and have to do this, like,
right.
Men aren't bound to like that. Like,
men are more like on and off. Like, when they're on, they're at war, they're doing something important, they're doing all these things. But when they're off, they're very laid back. Yeah. Whereas women, it's like they're never off. They're always on every second of every day.
They don't get to rest.
Yeah. They are simply
at war. And then we get why your father married her off.
And so she's like, I failed him. And he basically says, like, your fight is still to come. Like, you still have you have not failed him yet. It is still to come. So that gives her sort of a new sense of purpose too. This is why you're alive. All right. So as we go into the end of the episode here, a bunch of stuff all happens all at once here. So we get
bad Osaka.
A council meeting. They're trying to vote in this actor guy to be the regent.
He just sitting there nicely.
Yep. Everyone's saying yes, yes, yes. But Sugiyama's like, nope. I'm putting my foot down. Too little too late, but I'm putting my foot down. We're all prisoners here.
He pretty much is doing a table flip on Ishido. Because, again, they're not like partners, but he's kind of gone with what Ishido's been wanting to do.
Yep.
And all, because he was expecting the Christian regents to give him shit. But not this guy who's just been snoozing on the job. And so, he goes through the same woods that everybody else goes through.
Well, first... he leaves the meeting.
Yeah, that's right. He just storms off at this point.
Now, Ishido, back to frustrated, perpetually frustrated again. And he has this conversation with Ochiba.
Who is not having this.
Nope.
She goes into why she is so adamantly against Toranaga.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I know his secret heart. I saw him plotting against my father.
Yeah.
I know
he is the reason my
his
father
real
is
self.
dead.
And that is why I need him out of the picture.
Because after he died, she was forced out of the city. They said, don't come back.
Yeah.
She was rushed out. She has been an outcast, basically, until she was brought in for the Taiko, given a new name. And
yes, that was a good montage.
And,
they showed that. Yeah.
And basically, she endured a lot to conceive for the Taiko.
We can definitely go into what we think she endured.
Yeah, well, first, just enduring the Taiko, like they do the
just
great
a second of
just
like,
so
oh, because he's an old dude.
Yeah, you just really feel for like, even if that was it, that would be like, oh, but then she had to take his wife made her take all these like herbs and concoctions and things.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, she said, what I had to do is I made fate look at me so I could claw out its eyes.
I could scratch out its eye.
Basically, she took control of her own fate. She didn't leave it up to all this crap. I think the implication is that there's no guarantee that this kid is actually the Taiko.
That was when it was like, ding, 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 like a little red flag. Because, even just the way she said it, by compelling fate to look at me so I could scratch its eyes out. I'm just like, oh, this bitch is to be reckoned with.
This isn't just the lucky consort who happened to give a child. This is someone who made sure it would happen.
Yep.
And that is what gets the point across to Ishido to enough of this dicking around, take action. So we get the infamous woods.
The bandit woods.
Bandit infested woods.
Like, man, they really do have a bandit problem.
Because Sugiyama wakes up family and they try to leave. And they make it about halfway there. And then there's Ishido blocking the way. And then they are all killed.
I do like what he says before he dies. Like, all you'll be is a simple bureaucrat.
Yep.
Because he's like, I was foolish to align with a simple bureaucrat. And that's all you'll ever be. Yeah.
Yep. Gets in some cutting remarks.
Because he's like, I'm dying. I'm dying anyways. Let me bring this bitch down. The ending is Toranaga, right?
Yep. Where, like, all right, I guess I have no choice. Even though I didn't want to be Shogun, Crimson Sky is on.
Crimson Sky. Crimson Sky. And that he's going to go talk to his half-brother, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's the key thing here is because his army's been sort of decimated.
Yes,
needs some support. He's going to reach out to his half brother to get his support.
Mm-hmm.
Going to march on Osaka.
Crimson Sky.
All right. So I think that's about it for episode 6, Ladies of the Willow World.
Yeah, not as dense as like the episode before, but a lot of good moments. I think a lot of important moments too, especially in terms of John and Mariko's relationship.
Yeah.
And things to come.
Yeah. And then again, just some great like writing and camera work with the tea house scenes.
Sexy.
Yes. using all aspects of the medium like you should. So we'll be back next week or
next week we're gonna be doing both 7 and 8 will come out next week.
Yes, but in separate episodes.
Yes. Yeah, so we're not doing like what we did this episode where we're rushing.
If you feel like this episode or the last one were rushed, that's because we recorded them all at the same time, and then we're like, that's not working. So we're gonna split them up so we have a little more time to breathe.
If these 2 episodes had to be squished into one, there would have been some Frankenstein editing.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to do that. So we decided, you know what? Let's be kind to ourselves. Things are already rough.
Yep.
We'll just do one at a time.
All right. See you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.